All right, all right. Good morning, people. 8 a.m. on a Saturday, spring break here in Miami Beach. All of the debauchery, the craziness, the lewdness, and the love as well. People happy. Of course, there are going to be certain incidents, but for the most part, everyone's excited and in good spirits here in Miami. One of the tips of the Bermuda Triangle. Here, probably home to ancient Atlantis. One of you Bobby and brothers could probably tell me where everything is, because you brothers are no joke. Shout out to the young elder and Rod Hayes. You all have inspired me to just lift myself back up after being down in the trenches, traveling all the way down to the hell. Hit rock bottom to show. Hit rock bottom. Had to do that. Go down there. See what's going on. Take control of myself. And lift myself right back up. And you all gave me that lion's grip that I needed. So I appreciate you. Yes, I am an Enkiite. An Enkiist. Not an Enkidu. But I do Yahweh's will. None of these are my words. And I have not lived my life for myself whatsoever. And those that know me can testify that I did not take the road I took. I didn't take the road they took. I took the road less traveled. Yes, I'm Priest Yahweh, Priest Yahweh, Priest Yahweh, Priest Yahweh, Ben Yahweh, Ben Yahweh, Ben Yahweh, or Priest Daniel. Or you can just call me Daniel. Call me whatever you want. But I'm doing this because I want you to listen to the story. This might be an intro. This might be edited. It might not. One thing you all have to understand that back in the day, we had to read these things called books. We didn't have internet. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have tablets. We were lucky if we had a DVD player. You understand what I'm saying? So, if you cannot focus long enough to listen to these words, or to at least use the timestamps that I provide, then you're not worthy of this knowledge. Compared to what we had to go through to get knowledge, please, we had to walk miles, spend money, park, get out the car, run inside the store, stay in the line, go back home, do it all over again, and get back in the house, and then actually stop everything around us just to sit down and read the words in the book. These books were not in audio form, so we had to put in work to get this knowledge. The problem is today, you all have so much being thrown at you. I mean, I have to turn off my phone, actually. Matter of fact, let me turn it off, because every 5 seconds, I'm getting a notification that draws my attention where? Right back to the phone. So, too many distractions. So, if you want to get the knowledge, you got to shut everything down and turn your mind on. You understand? Turn your patience on. And turn down that zeal to want to learn the truth about this planet and this reality that you're in. So once again, I am Priest Yahweh, or Priest Daniel, however you want to call me. But I am a priest of Yahweh, a.k.a. Enki. I would think he's Anu, but he said he prays to his father. And if you look at the shirt that I put forth about the Our Father prayer, Yahweh did when he came in the flesh. He said he prayed to who? To his father. So Enki has a father in heaven, and his name is Anu, Avenu, Lanu, Uslak Lanu, Arkatai Nu, Anaknu, the Anunnaki, because Anaknu is we or us. So it said, let us make man in our image. So the Anunnaki made it, is the us, who we were made in their image. So praise Yahweh, Anu. Big shout out to Anu up there, hanging out, Anu El, right? And you're going to see Anu all throughout the Hebrew. So, let's go, right? So, there's so much, everything is jumbled in my head. I'm going to do my best to put it forth correctly. And if I stray too much, I will edit, and I'll be pausing. See that pause button right there? That's an awesome button to use instead of editing. If I just need to pause, I use that button to minimize whatever editing I have to do because I don't have that much time. If any of you watch the old Kung Fu flicks, you all know that when the priests or the monks would come down from the Buddhist temple to the city, they had to beg for food. Knocking on their little bowl, tuk, 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 tuk. Can I beg you? Can I please beg you for a cup of vegetables or a bowl of vegetables, please? And they would bring down the word from the top of the mountain of Buddha and peace, the message of peace to the world. But guess what? They didn't worship money. I didn't worship money. But it was always easy for me to get. For a lot of y'all that don't understand, before this event happened, right here, right? Right? Before this event, it was so much easier to get money. Believe me. You would think it's easier today. For certain ones of us, it was easier for like just anybody can get money. You see what I'm saying? It was so much easier. And this ruined a lot of businesses. A lot of businesses just ask on the street. Ask your uncles, ask your mamas and your papas that was real hustlers, legal and illegal, how much easier it was to get money before this day. Yes, you have internet, you have this, you have that. But for our people, excuse my wheezing and all that, they tried to kill me. For y'all that don't believe in gang stalking or targeted individuals, then that's good. That's good. That's a certain reality that you don't have to worry about. Certain ones of us know that we've been targeted for the knowledge that we're going to be imparting to the world these last days. It was like in Egypt when Pharaoh tried to kill all the babies, literally murdered them. Picture that in your mind, seriously. It's not just a story. It's happening today. And it's been happening for a very long time. And they know who's who, or who can possibly become who, and who could survive. Yes, certain ones are targeted individually, and yes, groups of us have been targeted en masse. Deal with it. Deal with it. Deal with it. You don't want to believe it? Of course not. My channel's not for you. So please go. But yeah, they tried to take me out. That's why I'm wheezing. Part of it is my fault. I set myself up to allow them to take me out. But guess what? I'm still here, baby. So what I'm saying is, yeah, times are tough. Times are tough. If you look at the videos that do good, because you can say, yeah, you got social media. Now you got AI. You got this. You got crypto, which, yes, actually did good in crypto. But then my lungs couldn't work for a whole year. Had to use up my savings. But enough about my problems. All I'm saying is, put any of your prejudices aside about me. If you're a family member that thinks you know me, nobody in my family really knows me. But I do cherish the ones that do know the little bit about me, which is way more than these people meet me today. A lot of people will meet you and they'll just make up things in their mind. They might know you for a month or two and think they know your whole life and who you are, which is wild to me. I never underestimate anybody. I treat everybody with respect and the same reverence as I want for myself. But trust me, life changed since this day. It was cake to get that money. I was one of the first to use Amazon, one of the first to use eBay. So anyway, I was one of the first to do a lot of things. I have other channels. I'm probably the first one in the family to get 1 million views on the channel. One of the first family members to even put a video up on YouTube. And if you guys want to find my other stuff, I always drop clues in my videos. Only those who are worthy to find my other channels. And if you know the name of my rap group, you can look that channel up. The rap group that I had with my brother Samaje, Son of God, and Scott, the Vicar Hicksaw. We had a group, and our brother Jay, the producer. So, we even did a song with Signs of Life. Lil Side came through, came down to Trenton, New Jerusalem. You know what I'm saying? Laid down the verse for us, man. in the living room. So I'll be putting out that album once I get it as remastered as I could. Back then, we didn't have laptops. Not like that. That was slow. We did everything on the actual physical workstation and a DAT machine. So anyway, right? What I was talking about is being targeted. So why? Because this knowledge that I'm going to be imparting on you knowledge has been around forever. There's nothing new under the sun. And you had a man by the name of Malachi Z. York who was imparting this knowledge to all of those that would listen or pick up his books and read. And I dipped and dabbed inside the right knowledge, of course. It was a lot to take in. It was amazing, and to me, it was a lot of science fiction and stuff. And I love science fiction. Do not get it twisted. Because there isn't too much that man could think of that doesn't exist already or hasn't existed at one point in time. Let me take this image down. And what I'm going to do right now is, because a lot of the things that I might say might sound wild. And some of you, the things I was saying back in the 90s was wild, right? So this is going to sound even wilder. And that's why I found the perfect video to present to all of you as an intro, or intro number 2 to my channel, that the things that I'm saying are not crazy. And what we have is firsthand testimony from the young elder Tamu, also known as Haru, Tammuz, also known as Haru. And you cannot make this story up. There's no way. So the video, fair use, young elder, I will hope that you're actually honored that I'm sharing your knowledge and your channel with my peoples. Fair use, my brother, fair use. You know how we do. So let me pause this and put it through the computer so that you can hear it. But to give you a quick synopsis of what I'm going to be reacting to and using as proof that truth is stranger than fiction. Believe me, believe me, believe me. And a lot of my family are going to be watching this channel, because I will be sharing this channel with my family. Some of you know my other channel as well, but you don't know my gaming channel, which has over 3,000, hitting on 3,100 subs. You know, I appreciate the children out there, man, the young ones. I tapped into the wavelength of what's going on just to prove to myself that I could stay in tune even with the young ones. The Most High said, to get into heaven, you must be as a child, right? So I had to learn, and I have so much faith, so much hope in this generation Alpha that's coming up. They're going to change the world, believe me. So this one's for you, Generation Alpha, as well. So this is a story that the brother's going to tell that there's no way you can make this up. There's no way you can make this up. Yes, there is, but you're gonna hear, like, this really isn't no way you can make this stuff up. There really isn't. It's too good and too real, and he provided the evidence. And the evidence has been put right in front of our faces. Like I told y'all, truth is stranger than fiction. And a lot of these things that these men are showing you on television and the movies are actually real. 1 second. And what I'm going to do, I'll do my best with the sound on the videos, but the editing is going to be as minimal as possible, but I do take time out the timestamp. So, this story is from our young elder, talking about Sinclair, and a people called the Dewanis, for lack of a 100% perfect. Here you go. These are the people. Perfect pronunciation. And basically, the Dewanis are what the Leprechauns are. And you're going to see the story. trust me, I'm telling you, truth is stranger than fiction. But a lot of these quote unquote fictional characters and stuff that we watch on television since we were young are actually real. From the Little Mermaid, yo, they really upset everyone with this woke culture. Then they use that as an excuse for telling you the truth, which will make you want to reject the truth because the whole woke culture thing has been presented in a disgusting view. But yo, we was woke, really woke back in the day. So they had to mess that up so that people like us, when it's time to start revealing things to you, you know, you're going to look the other way. They had to make you disgusted about wokeness. Wokeness is a beautiful thing. It's just the way it's been presented to you by the powers that came down to taint the wokeness have done. But the Little mermaids are darker complected. There's different types of mermaids, which you'll be learning if you check out the Young Elders channels and you check out the Galactic Family of Life classes. This is students of Dr. York. He put galactic. That sounds pretty cool. Family of Life class, number 16, meaning Sinclair's grandson. He literally met a leprechaun. Check this out. Let me switch the audio. All right. Nice. Here we go. So, this is cool though. This sounds so cool. I don't know if this is music that was made by the Nuwabians, but if y'all don't know Malakazi York and all that, you'll know more and more. You can look it up, but all you're gonna see is negative stuff from the media, just like they do about every single black leader. Now they just dropped the movie on Michael Jordan. I can only imagine how they're gonna taint his legacy in that movie. That's all they do. They build up our great ones, and then they eventually tear them down. And this is to destroy the image of God's children by different beings that really don't like us. If you stick with me, you're going to find out the truth. The truth about everything. Not everything, but more than you ever thought you would know.
So you're getting the audio part of the book first. So we're going to introduce you to a chapter in the book called Meeting Sinclair's Grandson. And let's go in. Back in the day, you know what I'm saying, I did producing, right, for a lot of artists. I lived in Texas, right, Dallas, Texas, DFW area, right, with Irvin, Alton, Plano, these areas, right?
All right. So he's going to go into a story of how he was he was a producer and he did production. I think he said with one of his cousins or one of his peoples. So he hopped from one producer to another producer, you know, looking for the ones that's going to treat you right? So he eventually got with this. He was outside waiting for Low Key, which was the producer he was working with at that time when this story happened. So he was working with Low Key. Low Key, he was outside the studio waiting. It was just like the studio that I had in North Hollywood. It's a big like warehouse type building, and it's sectioned off into different studios in there. And you needed a pass key to get in. I think with the studio I had was we had an actual key, regular key to get in the door. But so he's waiting, and my studio was right across the street from Game Studio. So if anybody know what Game Studio is in North Hollywood, you'll know where my studio was, right across the street, or the building where my studio was. And I had one of the best studios right in the corner because I got first dibs. The building was brand new. There's two. The one next door, and the guy eventually bought the warehouse. I mean, really connected to it. He bought the other side and made brand new studios. My studio was brand new, and I had the corner. So the corner, the shape of it was so dope. Man, I got videos of that. So he's outside waiting, and this car pulls up. Let's check it out.
Yo, Low Key wasn't there, so I was sitting outside of the studio, and then all of a sudden, this car pulled up, this Lexus, gold-plated Lexus. I'm talking about clean, man, rims on it, everything, right? Pulls up.
We're gonna turn this up. Sound alert. We're turning the sound up.
Beating, bumping, man. I'm talking about bumping. Some weird pop type music, you know what I'm saying? Pull up is clean, right? little midget being hop out, right? Like a 4-foot tall being, right? Had like a green, like.
Well, he's calling him a being, but at the time, he just thought he was a person.
He was like
A regular human being, I mean.
dressed from the 70s or something, you know?
But you know, we come in all shapes, sizes, colors. But this is going to start making you think and open your eyes more if you're still with me.
Nigga had like a green and red.
I mean, just when you actually look at people, you're going to be looking at people a little differently. And now you're going to be searching for other beings that are probably not human that are amongst us. They're all over. Truth is stranger than fiction, baby. Get with it or get left behind.
Outfit on like a leprechaun looking fit, right? Had a lot of gold jewelry on, man. The nigga had rings and gold and chains, you know what I'm saying? The nigga was like Mr. T with the gold teeth and the jewelry, right? And the rings, the watch, the braids. I'm talking about the whole.
You have to understand, back in the day, we didn't have cell phones. And if you snapped a picture of somebody, you could have possibly got beat up or at least confronted about it, right? It wasn't a thing where we just took pictures. It just wasn't a thing. A lot of people can't stand pictures, being in pictures to this day. So obviously he probably never took a picture with this person. You know what? There's so many people that I live with for years and years, 10, 20 years. And I barely, if any, have any pictures with these people. It's crazy. It's crazy. Since cell phones came out, there's been more pictures taken in like the first 5 years, let's say, of like cameras on cell phones coming out on smartphones than there was in the entire history of the world. Let's go.
Whole setup, man. The Breen had his jewelry game down pat, right? I'm
Jewelry.
thinking it's some rapper. Nigga was a midget. He really was a midget because there's a difference between a midget and a dwarf. He really was a dwarf, right? Because his body was evenly portioned. Like sometimes you see a midget, they may have a bigger head. Although he did have a nice sized head, but he had like extra big wrinkles on his forehead, right? I ain't think nothing of it at the time, right? But he had extra wrinkles on his forehead, like part of his brain was on his forehead. He's a midget, because that's all the thing I know was midgets, right?
Okay, he goes on to describe him. The gentleman invites him into his studio. He said he hopped out with these two beautiful models, these two beautiful Mexican, he's called them Mexican models. Who knows what they were? Probably Mexican if you're in Texas, right? And he said he had dreadlocks and he had a mole on his face.
No, I didn't think to say, okay, he was a dwarf. Let you in, you know what I'm saying? I'll let you in. And
So he let him in his studio. And this is what he saw in the studio.
Studio was like, I've been dealing with studio equipment a long time. His studio equipment, like he had got a lot of electronic parts out of a dumpster and a trash can or something, and rigged that shit up, and where it was a studio, man. It's like he had took parts from a VCR, parts from a vacuum cleaner, other things, man, and made a studio out of it, man. So I'm thinking, this nigga right here, what the hell is it, This being came off as very cool to me over time, right? So I eventually started coming to this Bean studio too and making beats with him, right? On his equipment. And man, let me tell you, this dude had every single sound you could think of on this put together makeshift equipment, right? I couldn't believe it, like all the sounds that he had on this machine that he had put together, right? He made money off of studio time and fixing different studio equipment of the other beings who had studios inside the building, right?
He's calling people beings respectfully because you don't know who's who. Some people might be other beings through DNA and all that, might skip one generation, come out. So he's calling everybody beings because we're all beings. None of us originated here fully.
Fix the equipment.
Here on Earth.
Equipment broke down, he'll fix it for them. So they'll bring it to him and he'll fix it, right? And he would make their shit more advanced. Whatever they gave him, he would make it more advanced.
See that? Watch, he's gonna tell you. People came back to the studio, asking this person, "What did you do to my equipment? What did you do to it? Because it's working way better
than before." And sometimes when their people get their shit back, they'll go test it out. and they'll come back and say to him, hey man, what did you do? It's working way better than before. You know what I'm saying? He'll just laugh, you know.
And this is the cool thing about this story. That there's other people that could probably vouch for this, right? Because a lot of people knew this leprechaun.
Right? He'll say, I'm good
They just didn't know he was a leprechaun.
at what I
For lack of a better word, you're going to find out the real names of these people, though.
do, right? So this being was very smart at fixing electronic, right? Low-key began to get jealous about making beats for this dude, the dude Lucky, right? Lucky ended up
He called him Lucky. That was his name, Lucky. Lucky Leprechaun. Let's go.
telling me that low-key was screwing me over on what he was paying me, because low-key was paying me $50 a beat, and he was selling my beat for $8,000 when we were supposed to split the money down the middle. He was telling me he sold the beat for $100, and we split the money down the middle, when really he was selling the beat for $8,000. That's what Lucky told me, right?
And that's what happens in this world. Listen, 2023, you either scammer or getting scammed. And if you have a good heart, you're struggling. You're struggling. Not everybody, but if you're not a cog in the wheel, it's not easy right now. Even Young Elder just got scammed for thousands, probably tens of thousands with the Cash App. A guy put an S at the end, used his logo from his channel, and people were sending the Cash App to this scammer instead of him for the books and stuff like that. So you're either scamming or getting scammed. So anyway, I forgot why I even started talking about that, but let's go.
Low-key ended up getting mad.
Oh yeah, because low-key was beating him, charging him $50 for beats to sell them for $8,000. And Lucky put him on game. You know what I'm saying? Put Young Elder on game, and Young Elder started making beats for Lucky.
Or whatever. Then about 2 days later, low-key ended up going to jail for jumping on his old lady.
You see that? Dude got mad at Lucky. Low-key got mad at Lucky for taking Young Elder, and then low-key gets locked up 2 days later.
Man, all this shit ties in together. So I end up, so low-key had fell off, but I end up going to do beats for the dude Lucky, right? And I ended up doing 6 months span doing beats for him. I was making way more money with him than I was making with low-key.
Anybody that's watched this far and it's just like, this is so stupid, this is wild. Fine, leave. This is not for you. I don't care who doesn't believe. I only care about those that do believe.
Right? And he had his equipment.
I'm not saying I don't care about you, but I'm just saying, as far as this info, just, keep watching the movies and let somebody else tell you the stories so you can smile and be happy and feel good. Because a prophet is never honored in his own country, ever.
It makeshift rig, but it was better. His equipment made better music than low-key's.
The one thing that y'all need to realize, I come from a long line. You see, a lot of the people in the family that dismiss me, you're dismissing the ancestors. You're spitting in the face of the ancestors. That's what you're doing. If you look at my father's side, I come from a long line of people that love Yahweh, love God. My grandmother was preaching. She was an evangelist, a radio evangelist before the internet. So now you can just pop up and make your own channel if you want. Back then, you had to be selected. And there was only one channel to listen to in certain cities. That's it. And she was one that the whole city and surrounding areas would listen to preach to the people. This is the line, this is the lineage that I come from on my father's side. My brother's a pastor. My dad's a pastor. I'm a priest of Yahweh. That's a lineage. That's a holy priestly lineage that has come down for generations and generations. On my mother's side, they don't talk to me that much about the history, but I found out that one of my great-great-grandfathers owned coffee beans in Cuba, coffee field. I never knew this until I'm 30-something. This is how much the family don't talk and don't teach each other our lineage and our history. But I know I come from a royal priestly line. So if you dismiss me, you're dismissing the ancestors. You're dismissing the lineage that I came down from. It really upsets me.
Right? This being had a cell phone that he never paid the bill on. I'm talking about, I don't know what he did to this
But
phone.
I'm okay. I've made it this far.
But the bean did something to his phone.
Without your support.
electronically wise, where he didn't have to pay a bill for years.
Not only without your support, but being attacked.
And he also took my phone and did the same thing to it. I had a phone for a long time where I ain't had to pay a bill on. I ended up selling the phone to my cousin. Years later, I ended up selling the phone to my cousin because
Lucky made him a phone, put together a phone for him. So Lucky was very good with electronics, and that's what these people, they're very highly advanced with electronics. And later on in the story, he talks about how the U.S. government was working with some of these people to make electronics for them. But this cell phone, supposedly, not this particular cell phone, but the one that Lucky had hooked up for him, for the young elder, you never had to pay the bill. You never had to pay the phone bill. And things like this do exist, because I remember back in the day, there was this little machine that played a certain tone, and you pick up the payphone and play it in the speaker part, in the microphone part of the phone, and you could talk for free. You didn't have to pay. So things like this do exist. So he had the cell phone. He said he had it for a couple years, never had to pay a bill, and he wound up selling it to his cousin for a couple $100, and the phone never shut off.
Scared of the phone and sold it to my cousin for $200. Right? It was a Nextel Sprint phone. So I ended up selling the phone, but the phone never did cut off. I never paid a bill on that phone. Man, that was weird.
Shout out to the family that has supported me all these years.
Phone, but I never paid a bill on that phone. So after 6 months went by, I ended up getting cool with this dude, right? And he invited me to his house. When I got to his house and I walked in, he had a lot of gold, bro.
Check it out.
He had a lot of gold coins, a lot of gold. And I was like, man, well, you know, what you do? Like, what you really do, man? I know you ain't get all this from doing music and stuff. I mean, you know, God, dog, man, you got a lot of gold up in this thing. And he was like, man, I got something to tell you. I'm thinking to myself, this bean finna tell me he robbed jewelry stores or something, man. Much gold as he got, right? This bean says, how old do I look? I said, you look about 21, because the bean looked young, man. He looked like he was pretty much like a kid. He had a baby face with a mole and some dreadlocks. He was short, like about 4 foot tall, right? He was hairy, though. He had hair all over his body, but it was like, you know, like the normal human type hairy people. Then he said, guess again. I said, shit, well, you look 18, 19. He like, man, you funny, right? He like, nah, I'm 102 years old. I was like, nigga,
Whoa.
Stop playing. He was like, nah, I'm really 102 years old. He said, I can live to be over 400 years old. He said, I'm a leprechaun. And as he was saying that he's a leprechaun, he levitated a coin in his hand. And man, by this time, the hair on the back of my neck stood up. Like, what the fuck? Like, yo, what the hell? You go, right? He was like, no need to be alarmed. I'm a good leprechaun. He said that he was a Darwin hybrid.
So there's probably bad leprechauns, just like they have in the movie.
Right? That his father was a Darwin, that his mother was a Aztec Mexican who lived in El Paso.
So he was a hybrid. And he said that Lucky spoke like 7 different languages. And that he was talking Spanish, because I skipped through for the sake of time. And you could go watch the video yourself so you can get the full story. But he said Lucky actually spoke several languages, and he was talking to the models in Spanish. So he was half Aztec and half the one.
That he was a hybrid, and that his father was these beings, these fuzzy looking beings that live on the ground. Right?
So we can't intermingle. This is what I'm saying. You're going to be looking at people different. You're going to be looking at people different from now on. But don't let this make you crazy. You know, we just proceed as natural. And the purpose is to praise Yahweh and understand the creations and everything. So check out my Anunnaki playlist so you can get a little more history, a little more backstory.
In cave systems. And that he was the grandson of the chief whose name was Sinclair. And that his father was the son of Sinclair. His father's name was Alfredo or Alfred. He told me that his father had been working with the government on different electronics for over 50 years down in New Mexico. I wanted to know more, so he told me about his people. He said his people are from Sirius B, from the Sirius star system, the Cannabis Major. He said,
so if you made it this far, This is another message to the family. Now you're gonna understand why I had to separate myself. Now you're gonna understand why I am the way I am. Because a lot of this is a lot to deal with, and they have to deal with the world and the people in it and the system, right? To still be able to keep an open mind and still be able to absorb this and not be so miserable in life. You know what I'm saying? I had to pick a different path in life, so do not judge me. And hopefully you'll understand one day, and if you don't, so be it. So be it. I didn't choose the path of being a cog in the wheel. I broke out of the matrix, and that's why my other name that I picked for myself was Naked Matrix, because I opened the matrix up and I could see right through it. And it could drive you a little crazy or make you look crazy. Let's go. So they came from the Sirius star system.
They are the first spin of the dog people, of the little dog people. He said that he great mothership Numeru because their star was burning out and causing a great that his people left their star system on the great mothership Numeru because their star was burning out and causing a great radiation in their star system. His people left on the great mothership Numeru and came to Earth, or Tiamat, right? Over 2 million years ago. He said they left Cyrus because a counterpart called the Enkidu's or the Bigfoot bullying them around. He said they speak a language based on musical notes and are telepathic to some extent. Their skin is almost transparent and pale and appears to cover in a thin layer of fat.
Now, this is what Lucky is telling the young elder, who wasn't even the young elder at the time. He didn't even come across right knowledge until after this. And this is what made him start paying more attention to Malachi York, was when he had a first-hand experience meeting another being or another hybrid being.
And they have hair all over them, which stick out like a porcupine. Their brains are on the front of their head. They live in advanced cave systems about 5 to 20 miles underground. And they have over 12 of these different cave systems all over the world. He said that one of his great chiefs, which is his great-great-great-grandfather, name was Bess, who went to school in Egypt and even became a teacher in Egypt. He was the best at setting booby traps. He even set up the booby traps that lead to the underworld under the pyramids, who became an ancient Egyptian deity.
And there is another entrance to the underworld where the pyramids are. There's a few entrances throughout the whole planet to get to the center of the earth. There's people down there. There's a whole nother ecosystem down there that supports life. You'll find out if you really want to.
To scare off cowards. He said he met his grandfather once, and his grandfather's name was Sinclair, right? And he went to the main cave, and he said Sinclair means Saint Clair, he who is pure and can see clear. His grandfather Sinclair was the great-grandson of Bess, who became an Egyptian deity, like we told you. They have drawings of statues of Bess at every entrance of their cave, because like you said, some people still to this very day put Bess out front of their house to ward off evil spirits.
Very day.
Because he's standing a certain way, because Bess was the Tyler for a certain ancient order, right? For you beings out there that's not Freemasons and don't know what a Tyler is, Tyler is
that's what he's saying, Tyler. So all the Masons out there, Bess was a Tyler, kept people out.
The being that stands outside of the door
they don't belong.
Of a Masonic lodge holding a sword, right? To scare off any being who is not a Mason from entering while the lodge, right, in an open position, right? We don't want to get too much. We're going to put that out for you, right? So he was a Tyler for ancient order, which is why he's standing in a certain, if you look at how he's standing in a certain stance of an ancient order. And he's licking his tongue out.
He's sticking his tongue out.
Right? And when somebody licking their tongue out at you, right, it's like saying, nah, you can't get me. Or, you know, he's like making like he ain't scared. right? He's making a joke. When somebody's making if you trying to scare somebody and they making a joke out of it, right? They letting you know that they're not scared. So this is a position that he's standing in, right? We don't want to give too much, right? Because they listen, right? At all times, they listen.
They kind of creeped me out. I was watching this late night last night too when I found this video. Shout out to Young Elder all day, every day.
He said they also had huge spiders that guard the entrance of their cave, right? These spiders are their pets, and they raise them and train them. If you try to enter their cave without their permission, these spiders would kill.
We done seen these spiders guarding caves, especially the movies from back in the day. If you're younger than me, a lot younger than me, there's so many movies that's why like you could put a lot of things together, because a lot of these things weren't presented. Some of these things were only presented in older movies.
Get you, cocoon you, and drink your blood. Many people have gone looking for these beings, right? And never returned because the spiders were cocoon their ass and ate them, right? Pretty much sucked their blood out, okay? They also ride these big spiders like horses, right? They use them as their first line of defense when you're trying to enter their cave. And they use these beings to haul stuff kind of like mules, right? And these beings live in advanced cities and advanced cave systems with buildings built like honeycombs. And they sleep on comfortable hammocks made by their women who are great sewers. They can sew you anything you can think of. Sinclair sleeps on a very fancy one made out of silk, right? Egyptian cotton and gold threads. These beings eat fish, berries, nuts, and little insects, and their favorite, live earthworm. They wash their hands every single time they eat and after every time they use the bathroom. These beings
supposed to do. Mama told me, I didn't even know, something that she actually shared with me was that I was a germaphobe when I was young. I was constantly washing my hands. Not saying I'm a Dewani, but I'm just saying.
The very clean beings, right? Because the raccoon
So respect.
washes his hand every time before he eat. Check that out. Don't believe me? Go check it out, right? They live to be thousands of years old, as long as they stay under the ground, right? They are very smart and creative. They have very good memory. One of them, right, knew all of the magic tricks that I ever seen on the surface. One of them could quote all Shakespeare word for word. They like to dress up in human clothes and reenact all Shakespeare plays. One of them knew all of Michael Jackson moves and James Brown moves and they songs word for word, and can make his voice sound just like him. Sinclair looked different from the rest of them because he's the king. They had 12 leaders, including Sinclair, but Sinclair was the main one. You could tell that he was well groomed. His handmaids combed his fur with a gold advanced comb. By advanced, I mean that it produced static electricity, made his hair stick out like a porcupine. He had a huge safe room full of gold coins and gold artifacts. He had a gold chain around his neck, a very expensive Rolex watch, which he said was given to him by his son. This watch, Rolex that Sinclair wore, was then taken by one of his scientists and reverse engineered to do other stuff. Kind of similar to a holographic telephone watch. Kind of similar to what you got nowadays, what's the thing them young kids got? The iWatch, or where they can answer their phone and do texts on the watch, right? Where he took this Rolex and turned it into a thing where they can do similar, but it's more advanced, where they can talk holographic to each other.
Like, and you've seen these in some of the sci-fi movies where the watch and then the hologram of the person pops up.
Right.
Or a device you can put on the middle of the table, like in some Star Wars movies, and the hologram pops up and starts talking to you.
Sinclair ended up getting his scientists to clone these watches and give all his 11 sons.
Truth is stranger than fiction, folks.
Right? And
that's what I'm here presenting to you.
is like on. If I had one of the watches
This is
on,
the next stage of my journey. Is awakening my mind to just the reality of what's out here. You get stuck in this hamster wheel, just thinking you know it all already about everything, and then your whole mission in life is just to work for somebody, make them rich, make them rich by watching their Netflixes and consuming all their products, leaving a couple dollars for some of your grandchildren or whatever, or children, and then you die. Like, nah. There's more to this. There's more to this life. There's more to this life, and that's what I wouldn't accept. The story that the boomers tried to lay forth in front of me. Even my grandmother believed in the Bible. I knew there was more to it. There's more to it. There's more to this life. And we're taking that journey. Hold on.
I would see you hologramic off my watch, and then you would see me hologramic off your watch, and we'll be able to talk to each other like almost like we were face to face. So that's what Sinclair scientists did to this watch. And Lucky told me that this watch was a watch that he had bought, right, for $11,000 at a jewelry store, and he gave it to his daddy as a gift. Right? And his daddy gave it to Sinclair as a gift, and Sinclair's scientists reverse engineered the thing and turned it into a whole nother different thing.
So Sinclair was Lucky's granddad.
Right. Cause Lucky said he used to go to the casino and he knew the game. He knew how to mess with the machine.
He gonna think twice when you see somebody winning at the casino. You're gonna look at them 2 and 3 times. At the slot machines, winning at the slot machines. Come on, people. Truth is stranger than fiction. Get with the program. Get with the times. Awaken your mind, because what I'm doing you is a favor, because now you're going to look at life different, and you're going to be able to have more fun in this reality. We should be having a great time in this reality, not being depressed or finding things to be upset about.
To make the money come out. And what he would do is he would take the money and just go buy nothing but gold with it. Gold chain, gold whatever, you know. So
Gold
that's how he was
like
getting
the currency. Period. As well as other
gold.
minerals.
Right? He collected the gold. He had a fetish for gold. At the time this being was telling me all this, I had not yet read the Holy Tablets by Malachi Z. York. So the being was telling me all this prior to me reading about the Darwins, right? And the Holy Tablets.
Then he found more information that Malachi York had put out on these people. After he met Lucky. After Lucky told him the whole story. This picture is from one of Malachi York's books.
Which Malachi said some of the same similar things that this being had already told me prior to. So this made me lock into what Malachi was saying, lock into Malachi information more, right? Because I had already had contact with this being. These beings also were portrayed in a Star Wars series called The Adventure of the Ewoks, right? And also, they portrayed these beings in The Man in Black when Will Smith went to that locker. Remember when Will Smith went to that locker?
But
see, when he went to that locker, these beings was in that locker, right? They try to portray them as being small beings, but like we say, these beings are 4 foot, get up to 4 foot tall, right? The War Clan can range in between 7 to 9 feet tall. And these beings are from Cyrus, right? These beings are the counterpart to the Darwins, and these little beings live in the center of your planet. These beings have 30 to 40 mile long motherships.
So you talk about the dudes, the Bigfoot, Sasquatch, etc., etc.
Small eyeball looking ships on the inside. They come out the inside of it, right? They can have 20 to 30 or 40 of these ships, right? They're shuttles, right? They can hold 2 to 3 of them in there.
Do you think the powers that be are gonna tell you the truth about everything and lose their power. No way. No way.
Ball ships they got,
You have to
right?
figure it out for yourself if you want to. Or go back to sleep. Bye.
And these beings can travel interplanetary, right? They can leave at the top of the planet, right? And go to their in the Centaurian star system, their original home. Their original home, right?
So anyway, there's more. So apparently they left because of the Bigfoot people, the Enkidu's. Maybe even what was his name in Star Wars? Chewbaka, right?
And they kind of assimilated this underground here when they got here, right? So these beings also were called
From
Melmac.
the planet Melmac. Ding, ding, ding. Back in the day show. Let's
And
get
Lucky
into it.
told me they made a series about his father, which they called Alf in the 1986
Who
series.
remembers Alf? My uncles loved Alf. They even had the plushie, the Alf plushie.
Is
I
Alf
think they
from
gave it to me.
1986
I think it was Giovanni that had it. Or Pitito.
to 1990. What they call it Alf, which is short for Alfredo,
See?
right?
You can't make
Or
this
Alfred,
up. No way.
right? They could these.
Hi, Grandma.
Oh my God!
Have a seat.
Who are you? What are you?
A little background. My name is Alf. I come from the planet Melmac. I'm a member of a civilization millions of years ahead of your own. And now I live in a laundry basket next to the washing machine. Cup of Java?
I know. I know.
See?
You.
So what happens is they'll make it. Somebody said in the comments, or I think the young elder said that the reason they made the show was in case the information ever does come out, people just say, "Oh, you got it from the show." It's not real.
These love collecting gold coins and gold artifacts. They made things from them, like Sinclair's cup. Sinclair had a cup made from gold and a plate made from gold, and his seat or throne was made from gold. When they come to the surface, they're usually depicted as bearded man wearing green or red coats, hat, and wooded high-heel shoes.
Check it out.
And the thing is, these beings will save. The reason why they say the gold is because they were planning on buying Rainbow City. These beings were planning on buying Rainbow City, which is why they were saving the gold. Which hints there's a pot of gold at the end of every rainbow. Right? Dealing around with these leprechauns who are Darwins, who are Melmacians.
Probably
Right.
called Dewanis. That's the way it's spelled. But you know, young elder got his own flavor of speaking, and it's dope.
Bluefoots. Right?
Littlefoot.
Like I say, Sinclair has a daughter, right? And his daughter is the ambassador and record keeper of their tribe. She holds all of records and information about their tribe and where they came from. And like I said, their enemy or their counterpart was the Enkidu's, the Bigfoot, 7 to 9 foot Bigfoot people, right? Who was bullying them around. Who used to come to Earth to hunt prehistoric animals millions of years ago. They are disagreeable beings, right? Who were created as worker beings at first, right? They changed, they were dumb beings, so they leaned more towards the reptilian side of things, right? So these little beings, these Melmacians, these Darwins, right? They stick with their philosophy, and their philosophy is that one day Earth will be theirs, because Earth, the trees, the thing is similar to their home. So they say one day Earth.
So there you have it. There's a lot more. Should we just finish it out?
Will be theirs once the humans destroy
Shout out young elder.
themselves.
Young elder, this one's especially for my family. So I hope you actually honored that I'm reacting to this video, King, and using this as part of my channel, and it's a part of a way to explain to my family and those watching how truth is changing to fiction, and how the rest of the materials that I'll be presenting should be more believable now. And I highly recommend first watching the Anunnaki. I put a playlist for that, and then I put a playlist for the Galactic Teachings. Actually, I think Young Elder already has an entire playlist on his channel, so you can just go. There aren't that many on his channel, so you'll see this one. I'll link it below.
And wipe themselves out from a disease. From the they'll come back up from the bottom, from the inside of the planet. The humans, and their philosophy is that one day Earth will be theirs, because Earth, the trees, the things is similar to their home. So they say one day Earth will be theirs once the humans destroy themselves and wipe themselves out from a disease. From the they'll come back up from the bottom, from the inside of the planet, from their cave system, and come back to the surface. Because when they first came here, they landed on the surface, right around the island, that area right there, which is why they get the leprechaun tails, right? Because they landed in that area first.
Saying leprechaun tails like the stories, the fables.
Down, right? And these beings are, like I say,
like it's a real thing. Don't sleep. You're not Irish. If you were Irish from Ireland, you understand that the leprechaun is literally part of your culture. The leprechaun story is literally part of your culture. So a lot of these stories and fables from old are true. This is what I'm trying to present to you. This is what I'm trying to hit you over the head with, so you can wake up and start enjoying life more. And you don't have to watch movies. Or when you do watch them, because life is a movie. This life is the greatest movie. This is what I want you to wake up to. How beautiful and amazing this is. Where we're living, this whole galaxy, this whole universe that we're in. Your government is telling you. I mean, you can wait for your government to tell you. Because I know you prefer Big Brother just drip feeding you. You know what I'm saying? I've been trying to give you the truth for the longest. And even my knowledge has been evolving. You know what I'm saying? But it still comes full circle. Right back to Yahweh.
These little scientist beings sometimes collect electronics from the surface and advance them. Such as the first handheld TV. One of them took the first handheld TV and reverse engineered it, right? To where it could get any channel on the surface, like HBO, Cinemax, right? MTV, BET, right? And it also could tap into any surface camera.
Just had to pull this up so y'all understand what you're talking about when you say handheld TVs. This is kind of like what comes to mind as some of the first ones. Some of y'all might still have this. You can go on eBay and look for the old ones. The Watchman. Oh, man. That's Sony. Okay, so you're talking about these handheld TVs. You're saying that they were able to make them so that they can get channels from the surface. They'll be underground watching television from up top. How you think he knew about Michael Jackson and James Brown all the way down in the bottom of the earth, in the caverns, right? And he was able to tap them into CCTV cameras. Let's go. Let's go.
I say these beings are about 2,000 years ahead of the surface beings and technology. And these beings don't trust humans because they say that humans, right, are crazy. Because they watch a human shoot a human 4 times in the chest and then go try to give him CPR.
Who's that? Your friendly neighborhood what? They'll shoot you and then call the ambulance, right? The boys that wear my color. But they not my boys. They not my enemy either.
They say this is crazy. They don't understand this type of thinking. Why would you shoot a man trying to kill him and then go try to save his life in the same sentence? You know what I'm saying? So, and he said he asked his father, which asked his granddaddy, where is their granddaddy best? And Sinclair said that Bess is on the great mothership Nubaru. Right? And we're gonna close it out tonight, right? Because we introduce you to these beings, right? Known as the Darwins, the Littlefoot people, the Mil-Macians, the Little Centaurians. Because these beings, like I say, they originated out of Centaur system to Cyrus after Cyrus was put together. Then they migrated back here to Earth where they live underground right now in the Shambhala, right?
Shambhala.
The center of your Earth, along with the other people who we talked about on
This is no joke, okay? So, here's one of the entrances under the pyramid. Another one, Mount Epomeo in Italy, Kentucky, Mammoth Cave, right? In Brazil, Mato Grosso. What's that? Manaus? I'm not sure. From the ocean, King Solomon's Mines. So you get in through the bottom of the planet, or you get in through the top of the planet. It's down there. Spaceship base. Cave cities. Here's one city. They wanted to buy Rainbow City. Hence, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
15, right? Call it the knuckle, the double-sided
you watch
cranium
Close
beam.
Encounters of the Third Kind, that mothership, the last ship that had the Crystal City on top. Let's find it. Okay. So here's the model. See that? Is that a city or is that not a city? This is the one that comes up. Here's NASA. Adam Savage examines the mothership model from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Right? Look at that. They went into detail. Can you imagine? I mean, you see something like this in real life, it's like, bro, it'll touch you. Touch your life forever. So they seen it. They know it's out there. The Pentagon just told you it's out there. Right? Pentagon just told you it's out there. Just told you. It's been out there for years. See? Pentagon officials claim alien mothership could send ships to Earth and draft research paper. Official warning issued by Pentagon over alien mothership UFO sending probes to Earth. 16 hours ago. And look at that, the Irish Daily Mirror. Ain't that a coincidence? So yeah, y'all prefer, some of you, and it you have to understand, you can't understand. Yeah, I forgive you all for thinking I'm crazy and telling the rest of the family I'm crazy and discrediting me behind my back since I was a youngin'. But I'm still here, baby. I'm still here, and all these years later, now your government's telling you. So now you gonna believe, or you gonna say they lying too? Ridiculous. Let's go. Okay. So if you check out the scene, the clouds come out. They telling you everything just the way the Bible tells you. Right? There's the clouds. Right? Clouds start forming. Check it out. We'll turn the sound down. Look at that. Ha ha ha. Yo, and this was made back in what? The 80s? That we're telling you? Right? So then you get all these, right? They come out. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Who knows? Well, it's bigger than that in real life. And it's a square city in Revelations 21. There it is. There it is. This is what I wanted to show you. It didn't come down. It didn't come down. It came up. See that? See that? Now you tell me, am I crazy? Or am I blind? Or do my eyes deceive me? It's coming up from the earth. See that? This is what I wanted to show you. If you stuck with me, you see now what I'm telling you. That there's ships under the earth as well. Not saying that the Crystal City's under the earth, because that's above the earth, but this is a sign letting you know. They're letting you know that they come up from out of the earth too. And there's pictures of the ones in Puerto Rico that come up from under the water. There's entrances down there too, and there's cities down there too in the water. This is just so beautiful. I'll never forget seeing this, because that's what I had to ask myself. Why did it come up from the ground? And this is Devil's Tower. It's a real place. But yeah, this is what I wanted to show you all. And I love the way when it just flips upside down and you can actually see the buildings on it. That's, oh my God. I'll never forget seeing this. I believed back then. To get into heaven, you have to be as a child. See, and then later adults try to tell you that you're crazy. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this. I highly recommend this entire series after you watch. Now you see the Nomo? You see they're telling you even in the movies today, Avatar. Right? The Nomo beings. The Young Elders channel is just chock full of I might just make a whole playlist of the different beings out there in the galaxy. And the reason I had to show you this video first was because the Young Elder, because I've been watching his channel nonstop, and I came across this video where he's telling you a personal story. Before he even came into the knowledge, he heard it straight from a being himself, and that's no coincidence. It was meant for him to have that encounter first with the Darwinians or with Lucky, so that he was able to gather all this knowledge throughout all of these years, sacrifice his life to gain this knowledge all of these years, and sacrificing his life now to deliver the message. 'Cause times are not easy, ladies and gentlemen. The man has family, got a child, you know what I'm saying, a youngin'. He's got to take care of the family, hold down the fort, and deliver this knowledge to us. So bless the Young Elder eternally. He was chosen. He was called, and he chose to deliver this information to us this day. And I appreciate you. In the name of Yudhe Yahweh, bless him. Bless you, King, for eternity. And I am Priest Yahweh. I come in Yahweh's name from the Blue House. Some call him Enki. So check out my channel as well. And if you made it this far, no matter what we've been through, I love you. Shalom Alaikum.